Welcome to the Win Streaks preview and predictions of all 32 NFL teams for the upcoming 2017 season. Over the next few weeks, I will be covering all 32 teams, so please subscribe on YouTube or the podcast platform you're listening on so you don't miss an episode. Follow the show on social media. That is Twitter at WinStreak News, Facebook.com/TheWinStreak, TheWinStreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Productions. Contact us at soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com. My name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Join our fantasy football league. More information about that can be found on our Twitter, Facebook, and on thewinstreak.com. Top 10 Super Bowl matchups we want to see is now live. We do top 10 episodes and a weekly wrap up of all the latest NFL, baseball, hockey, basketball news. So please, if you've never listened to the Win Streak podcast or on a YouTube episode, please check us out. We have a lot of fun. But today, I am doing my 2017 New Orleans Saints preview and predictions. This will be New Orleans' 51st season in the NFL, the 42nd season in the Superdome. This is Sean Payton's 11th season as head coach. Payton has a head coach record of 94-66. That is good for a .588 record. 6-4 in postseason. That is 170 overall. So he has exactly 100 wins. Mickey Loomis has been general manager since 2002. Saints have posted back-to-back 7-9 records. They are on a 3-year playoff drought. Last playoff game was NFC divisional round in 2013. They lost to the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. In 2016, they had one Pro Bowler, Drew Brees, quarterback. Finished third in the NFC South last season, have won 4 home games, 3 road games in 2016. First Super Bowl appearance was the charm for the New Orleans Saints. One NFC Championship in 2009 against the Minnesota Vikings, and Super Bowl XLIV against the Indianapolis Colts. 5 division championship, NFC South 3 times, 2006, 2009, and 2011. 10 playoff appearances. First 20 years as franchise, the Saints were not good, to say it in the nicest way possible, only getting to 500 twice. In 1987, they had the first ever winning season at 12-3. Vikings would crush them in the playoff. In 2000, the Saints would get first playoff victory against the St. Louis Rams. Forbes ranks Saints as the number 23rd most valuable franchise in the NFL. The owner is Tom Benson. Last 2 NFC teams to play in Super Bowl have came from the NFC South. So it's a tough division and will remain, in my opinion, a tough division. And that does not benefit the New Orleans Saints, in my opinion. Biggest franchise what if? Most of these franchise what if are positive. If you've checked out any of these episodes, like I said, I got the Jets up, I got the Chargers, I got the Bills, the Bears. So please go and check out previews on all the other teams out there. Most of these are positive, how they could have been even better than the franchise that they are. But this one's really bad. What if the rumors had been true that Saints owner Tom Benson deemed the Super Bowl unusable after Hurricane Katrina and seek to legally void his contract and relocate the team to San Antonio, Texas, like the rumors said back in 2005? Thankfully, that didn't happen, but it would have been interesting to see how the city of New Orleans. I mean, the only way that Hurricane Katrina would have been any worse for the city of New Orleans is if it cost them their NFL franchise. Because let's be honest, the Saints are a big deal. The Saints are the city of New Orleans. They got the Hornets down there, or well, now they're called the Pelicans. But New Orleans is a football city. They are not a basketball city. They are a football city, and the Saints mean everything to that city. So it would have been extremely sad to see the Saints go to the San Antonio, Texas. But thankfully, that did not happen. Looking towards 2017, New Orleans Saints outlook, Sean Payton's job is safe unless he goes 1-15. Maybe not even then. So Sean Payton is a god in New Orleans. Like I said, this is his 11th season. He's not going anywhere unless the season's just god awful. Drew Brees will start unless hurt. End of story. Biggest positive change, bringing in reinforcement for an awful defense. Got inside linebacker A.J. Klein from Panthers, drafting Marshawn Lattimore, cornerback, and safety Marcus Williams will provide immediate help for that defense. Also, Manti Te'o as linebacker gives Saints depth that they lacked for years. Adrian Peterson, I do like that signing. AP is not going to be the AP of a few years ago when he won NFL MVP, but Adrian Peterson definitely doesn't hurt. It takes some of the pressure off of Drew Brees, and Drew Brees takes a little bit of the pressure off Adrian Peterson. So definitely, I like what they did with the defense, but the defense is still let's be honest, it's going to be a liability. Biggest negative change, Saints, Jarris Byrd, Nick Farley's heart issue. He could possibly never play again, which is really sad. Torn labrum suffered by left tackle Jaron Armstead. Center Max Unger. Foot surgery scares me. Who knows if he's going to be 100%, and you need your center to be 100% to keep Drew Brees protected, because if Drew Brees goes down, he gets hurt, then the whole season is just up in flame. Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think nobody would argue against that. Major improvement, but not enough to fix that awful defense. I like the additions of Adrian Peterson and wide receiver Brandon Cooks, but just not enough, in my opinion, to win the NFC South. The NFC South is going to be tough. Personally, to me, I think the Panthers are definitely going to improve. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to shock a lot of people and be better than what a lot of people think the Buccaneers are going to be. And of course, the Atlanta Falcons, I think the Atlanta Falcons have a good shot at winning that division and possibly at least going back to the NFC Championship. Going on to the New Orleans Saints schedule, preseason at Browns, at LA Chargers, Texans, and Ravens. Saints have to travel more in preseason than most teams. To me, if you've listened to any of these other previews, I don't care about the preseason. The only thing I'm looking at is, I want these teams, especially my team, to travel the least amount as possible. Going from New Orleans to Cleveland, that adds a lot of miles, but all the way out to Los Angeles, that's a tough pill to swallow. So, not really hot on New Orleans preseason schedule. To me, the LA Chargers have the best preseason schedule because they play 2 at home, then they have to go to the other side of LA to play the LA Rams, and they don't even have to leave the state. Their other road game is just up north in San Francisco. So far, I don't think anybody can top Los Angeles Chargers preseason schedule. Regular season schedule. Saints will play in London against the Dolphins during week 4. If you listen to any of these previews, you know me. I hate London games. But the Dolphins would be favored to beat the Saints in London because that's a road game. Technically, I think it's a road game for both teams, but it's a game docked off of the Dolphins' home, 8 home games. So you could possibly upset the Dolphins in London because it really makes it a balanced game. There is no home field advantage. Saints going to Miami, that would be a lot tougher of a game to me. Saints primetime games, they have two at Vikings to open up the season on ESPN and at Atlanta on Thursday nights. So, going best case, worst case scenario here, you open up the season, like I said, on ESPN Monday Night Football at Minnesota. I say worst case scenario, you lose against the Vikings, but best case, I can actually see you beating the Minnesota Vikings because I just don't know what the Minnesota Vikings are going to be this year. The Vikings are the biggest wild card, I believe, in the NFL because I could see them trying to go for a wild card spot, but at the same time, I could see them being one of the worst teams in the league this year. September 17th, home against the Patriots. That is best case, worst case, you are losing that game. You just don't have the defense to stop Tom Brady. At Carolina Panthers, worst case, you lose that game, but best case scenario, you win that game. So you go into October, worst case, you're 0-3. Best case, you're 2-1. You beat the Vikings, Panthers, but just can't beat the Patriots because of your defense. But you are playing on in New Orleans, but I just think you can't beat Tom Brady just because of home field advantage alone. You have to really have a solid team, and the Saints don't have that on defense. October 1st at Miami. Worst case, you lose that game. Best case, I say you win that game technically. My bad, it's not at Miami, it's at London. I say you can win that game just because it takes away home field advantage. Who knows? The Redskins, the Bengals met up last year and it ended up in a tie. Some weird stuff happened. Personally, to me, I don't like London games. It's so early in the morning to wake up so early, a ridiculous. It's such early in the morning, especially if you're on the West Coast. You're waking up at 6 a.m. to watch a football game. Just nuts. October 15th, after the bye, you have the Lions. Worst case scenario, you lose. Best case scenario, I can actually see you pulling out a win against the Lions. It's going to be tough, but you're playing on at New Orleans over Detroit, so I say you have a chance. October 22nd, at Green Bay, no chance there. October 29th, home against the Bears, you're definitely winning that game. If you win one game this whole entire first half of the season, it's against the Chicago Bears in New Orleans. So you go into November. At worst, you're 1-6. At best, you are 5-2. If everything totally works out, best case scenario, that defense is surprising a lot of people. Drew Brees is having a MVP style season. November 5th, home against the Buccaneers. Best case, worst case, I say you're losing that game. November 12th at Bills. That should be a win. That should be a win-win for the Buffalo Bills or for the New Orleans Saints. But it is in Buffalo, and the Saints are known to be not as good on the road as they are in that home or in that dome. So, what is it called? Dome Sweet Dome, that little banner that they put up. It really is true. November 19th, home against the Washington Redskins. I actually think that worst case scenario, you can actually still win this game. And best case, you definitely win this game. I think the Saints can beat the Redskins. I think they can beat the Bills. And I'm not saying that the Bills or the Redskins, I've done previews on both of them. I don't think they're bad teams. I just think that the Saints can also be a good team and get in a shootout. And I favor Drew Brees over Kirk Cousins and Tyrod Taylor. So I'll give it to Drew Brees and the Saints. But if it becomes a low-scoring game all about defense, the Saints are definitely not winning either of these games. November 26th at Rams. Worst case, you lose this game. Best case, you should win this game. You have to travel all the way out to Los Angeles. Once again, the Saints are not a good road team. They've never really been a good road team outside of the year they won the Super Bowl. Going into December, at worst you are 3-8. At best you are 8-3. December 3rd, Panthers. I say you win that game in New Orleans against the Panthers. December 7th at Falcons. I don't see how you win that game. December 17th at or home against the New York Jets, my team. I say you're definitely beating the New York Jets. The only way the Jets could possibly beat you is if they got the overall first round pick and they just have to lose one more game to secure that pick, then they'll definitely beat you because that's just a total New York Jets move. A December 24th, Falcons. You're hosting the Falcons. I just don't see how you beat the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons are just a way better team. And then you finish the season at Tampa Bay. Once again, I don't see how you beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Best case, worst case, you lose. So, best case scenario overall, I say you can go 10-6. 10-6 might be a little bit too high, but I mean, you got some potential if that defense can just put together. Drew Brees puts up big numbers. AP can just run his brains out. You could win against the Vikings, the Panthers. You could beat possibly the Lions, especially the Bears. You should definitely get the Bears, upset the Dolphins in London. Maybe the Bills, the Redskins, the Rams, the Panthers again, the Jets definitely. I hope you could beat the Jets, and maybe you could possibly upset the Falcons or the Bucks in one of the 4 games you play against them. Worst case scenario, 5-11. My final prediction here, and I already think maybe I'm ranking the Saints a little bit too high, but I believe in the Saints. I think the Saints, they have some weak teams that they can totally, beat up on and get some easy W's. So I say final prediction that the New Orleans Saints will go 8-8. AFC South is rough, but the Jets, Bears, Vikings, Bills, Redskins, and Rams offer Saints some chances at wins. I think you can beat the Carolina Panthers also. I mean, if you beat the Jets, the Bears, the Vikings, the Bills, that's 4 wins right there. If you can win against the Rams, the Redskins, that's 6. You beat the Carolina Panthers, you maybe upset the Lions or the Dolphins in London. There's a lot of opportunity there, and if you somehow at home against the Buccaneers or the Falcons, you upset one of these teams, I can see you getting to 8-8. They have a good offense. It's just, once again, your defense is going to make or break you no matter what Adrian Peterson and Drew Brees does. But this was my 2017 preview of the New Orleans Saints. Follow the show once again on Twitter at Win Streak News, Facebook.com/The Win Streak, TheWinStreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. You can listen to this show on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, all kinds of podcast platforms. So please search us up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soaring Jets Productions. If you're listening right now on YouTube, please leave a comment. What do you think the Saints are going to do this year? What do you think their overall record is going to be? Am I too generous given on a 8-8 prediction outlook? Contact us at soaringjetproductions@gmail.com. Join our fantasy football league. Top 10 Super Bowl matchup we want to see. We do a weekly sports wrap-up show of all the latest news, so please check that out as well. Check out my other team previews. Right now I got the Browns, the Jets, the Chargers, the Jaguars, the Redskins, the Bears, the Bills, and of course the Saints up. I will soon be doing the Bengals and the LA Rams. But my name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. This was my 2017 preview and predictions of the New Orleans Saints. Until next time, keep winning, everybody.